Greetings, my fellow gamers! It is I, Wraith, bringing you news from beyond the mirror, from the other world. I apologize for the late video, my fellow gamers. Yesterday I was working. I'll tell you more about that at the end of the video. I was working on something kind of cool. I'll tell you more about that later. They updated the knights, but the only one they didn't update was Spike! They didn't update Spike, and that really made me angry. I really didn't want to review this in the first place because they didn't update Spike, and there's not really much to talk about because they didn't update the character models or anything, so there's not much to look at besides words, and I was like, it'd be boring. But there are some new tactics you can use for the characters, and so we're going to look at some of the popular ones, except for Spike, unfortunately, because he didn't have any changes. We'll look at the other 6 knights, shall we?
Those who serve the light.
Now, Rudy, I believe they simply just buffed him a little bit rather than change his skills. Let's take a look. Inflicts 80% physical damage on one enemy 3 times. Stun the enemy for 2 turns at a certain rate. Reduces the enemy's buff duration by 3 turns. Now, I don't really think, yeah, they just buffed that one a little bit. And not really much of a change there. It still debuffs. It always did debuff characters, unless I'm imagining things, because I haven't played this one in a while. The global version, I have not played the global version in a while, so sorry if it looks like I'm being stupid and they actually did update something that I didn't notice. But I wish I could have took a better look at the update notes a little while ago, while my friend told me, hey Wraith, you're going to update the game, you should take a look at the update notes, and I didn't. I should have took a look at the update notes before the update actually came out so I could see a difference. As for his second skill, defense protection. I keep saying defensive protection, I don't know why. Reduces all damage received by 80% and becomes immune to debuffs for 2 turns if hit with the death debuff. Now this is something interesting. I think this was always applied to Rudy. If hit with the death debuff receives 100% physical damage. So, that's interesting. So really, he's kind of like, something, what am I trying to say? What am I trying to say? So he's a perfect match for Kris. That's what I'm trying to say. Sorry, my fellow gamers. I don't know why, my brain shorted out there. I don't know why. But anyways, let's take a look at his passive. Increases the defense of all allies by 60%. Additionally, block will be applied for all damage received. Now that's pretty good. That's pretty good. It seems like they buffed that one a little bit. I wanted to do Eileene last, but I love Eileene so much, so let's just do it right now. She's my favorite. One of my favorite knights. She's not my favorite knight as far as skill is concerned, because actually, yeah, I really like that skill. I like Dellons. I always will like Dellons, but Eileene is just wonderful. I love Eileene. I use her in everything. 100 inflicts 100%, 120% physical damage on one enemy 2 times. Additionally, piercing and critical hit will take effect, so it's guaranteed critical. Something I wanted to tell you about. In the future, Dellons will also be guaranteed critical with his deadly strike. We'll get to that a little more later. Let's take a look at her second skill. Wait, what, did I read the whole thing? No, oh yeah, and electrifies enemies for 2 turns. Yeah, but we already know that. Inflicts 70% of physical damage on all enemies. All enemies. Was it just a couple enemies last time, or was it all? I'm not entirely sure. I don't know if they changed that to all enemies. I'm not entirely sure about that. So, why do I not know? Because, as I said before, I haven't played the global version in a while, so I don't really see too many changes, but I have memorized a lot of the knight skills, and what I have memorized so far is Eileene did not have a guaranteed critical, and I know she had piercing, but the 2 times thing also was not there. But the critical is what's really getting my attention, because I don't really think, yeah, you know what, I think she does have that in the Korean version, never mind. Increases the physical attack of all allies by 60%. Additionally, revives once with 100% HP. Yeah, that hasn't really changed too much there. But yeah, still an awesome ability. Let's take a look at it.
Royals do it elegantly.
Good old Rachel. Increases the counter rate of all allies by 50%. Revives one with 100% HP. And enhances skills. Wait, what? Oh yeah, for 3 turns. Yeah, I already did that. Sorry about my nerdy voice. Inflicts 200% physical damage on 3 enemies. Additionally, decreases the enemy's damage and defense by 80%. 2 turns, and turns the enemy with 300% of physical damage for 3 turns. Wow, that's awesome. Sorry about my nerd voice. I don't know why I started doing that. I'm sorry. I just been doing a lot of voices yesterday. I'm really sorry about that. It applied to what I was doing, and I've kind of started a little habit of doing a lot of funny voices. I'll tell you a little bit more about that later at the end of the video, because I have been doing something really, really cool yesterday. That's why I wasn't able to upload a video. It was really cool, and it took all of my time. I couldn't even work out. It was ridiculous. I could barely play any games. We'll talk more about that later. Inflicts 250% physical damage on 1 enemy. Additionally, ignores the enemy's defense. Oh, and critical hit. Wow. Wow, I like this one. This is a really good one. The ignoring enemy's defense and the critical rate. I think that was recently added. The critical rate is really, really a part of the knights here now. I'm really glad about that. So they are doing a lot differently in the global version. So that means that will the awakened characters be even more powerful? I'm not entirely sure, but that would be a nice twist if the awakened characters were a little stronger or had a different twist to them in the global version than they do in the Korean version, which would make sense though, because they are looking to make the global version better than the Korean version because everyone's playing the global version.
I'll show you the power of darkness.
I don't think we looked at Kris yet, did we? No, I don't think we looked at Kris.
I'll show you the power of darkness.
Now, as far as I know, I believe they increased the duration of his immortality buff to 3 turns. Yes, I think they did. Either that or that hasn't changed at all. I'm not entirely sure. But he does recover all allies by 30% of their maximum HP every time an enemy dies. I know about that. And applies a death debuff at a certain rate. Now, this I don't think they had before. I'm glad they added it now because that death upon attacking. Now that is a really, really good attack. I use that all the time in the Korean version. It really helps me out in arena. And here's a really good tip. If you have a ring of death, give it to Kris. Give it to Kris. Why do I say that? Because if you strike someone twice with death, they die. We all know that, right? So if you apply a ring of death, and he already has death on his weapon, right? So that means upon attacking, he's striking someone with death twice, which means that will kill them instantly. That's if you have a ring of death that has 6 stars. It's a low chance if you have a 5-star or 4-star one. Is there a 4-star? Yeah, there's a 4-star ring of death. If you have a 5 or 4-star ring of death, it will be a very, very low chance. So be sure you have a 6-star ring of death for that technique, because it is a very useful technique, especially in arena. So that's a little trick I wanted to tell you about. I know I said that in another video, but my global friends might not know about that, so I'm glad I told you about that now. Now this one I don't really think they changed too much either. It inflicts 150% physical damage on 1 enemy 2 times. Now I don't think they had the 2 times thing, but I know it did have piercing. And does it have piercing? Wait, it doesn't have. No, it doesn't have piercing. What? No! Oh, man. Yeah, it doesn't have piercing. Whispers. Now this is my favorite right here. I like this attack. Inflicts 200% physical damage on 3 enemies. Additionally applies the death debuff. Wait, it says additionally applies the death debuff. So is that a guaranteed? It doesn't say at a certain rate. I don't know. Is that guaranteed? I'm going to have to test that out later. Because that would be insane if it attacked. Oh, damage 3 enemies. Oh, okay. I was going to say if it damaged all enemies, that'd be ridiculous and then apply death to everybody. That'd be too much. But yeah, that's a pretty good skill right there. Giving 3 people death guaranteed. Now that's pretty good. I'm glad they changed that. Let's take a look at Dellons. Let's take a look at Spike, and then we'll take a look at Dellons. Not Spike, but because they didn't update Spike.
Tame a dragon.
You know what, my fellow gamers? When they didn't update Spike, now this is what made me so angry. Why did they not update Spike? Why? I mean, a friend of mine told me that they don't want Spike to be known only for his passive unique. But it's ridiculous. I mean, I was hoping for an update. When my friend told me that, we were both really, really hoping for a Spike update. We were both hoping for it. But they didn't update him. They didn't update Spike. Oh, I know he's angry right now. I know he's angry. Oh, and so am I. I really wish I could have got to this review sooner. So I'm sorry about that, my fellow gamers, because I just didn't really think there was much to talk about. But there's a lot to talk about here. There is a lot to talk about. No Spike. Developers, if you're watching this, I hope you update Spike soon, because he really desperately needs it. We'll talk more about that later. Now, there's something I noticed about Jive here, is, he's getting really, really close to his Korean version, Spike. He's getting really, really close to that. The only thing that's not close is his character model. But we'll talk more about the character models later, because that's something I was really hoping that they would change, is the character models in the global version, because the character models are a lot cooler in the Korean version. I was hoping they would add that update now, but I think that means they would have to change some of the voice acting, I think, but that's okay. But yeah, see, this is what I was talking about right here. Additionally, becomes immune to all debuffs for 3 turns. Now that's getting really, really close to the Korean version, and that's an amazing skill. And along with the reducing damage by 50% and reflecting the reducted damage back to the attacker. Now that is really, really cool. That makes him an amazing tank as well. That makes him almost as good as Rudy as far as a tank is concerned. If you really get him some serious max HP items and put him up front, he could be a devastating tank. Really, it could be. But it's only for 3 turns though, so it's kind of like a void shield. It doesn't last long, but it really has a serious good use to it. Now this right here, I don't really think they changed too much with this. It inflicts 200. I'm sorry, my fellow gamers. I didn't get much sleep yesterday, so pardon me if I'm talking a little gibberishy. Gibberishy. Inflicts 120 physical damage on all enemies. Additionally, ignores the enemy's defense, and piercing will be applied. Now, I think the ignore defense thing is new, but the piercing has been there for a while. Inflicts 60% physical damage on all enemies 2 times. Additionally, increases the damage by 20% each time an enemy dies. Now, that's the one that's really, really changed right there. As you can see, it's a serious change for a Jive. So if you're a Jive player, you're really, really lucky. Let's take a look at Dellons.
But I also don't want to die here.
Now, character model thing is annoying. I was really, really hoping that they would change the character model, and so they can give Dellons his new animation, because that new animation is amazing. But I think they probably won't give him that animation until he has his awakened form. But I really am hoping they at least change the character model. Now, as for this, the Void Shield has changed, and this to a Void Shield I hate. I do not like this Void Shield. Become immune to all damage for 4 times. If you know me, my fellow gamers, if you're new to this channel, you should know that I hate this Void Shield. I really do hate this kind of Void Shield. Why? Because you could get attacked 4 times in 1 turn. You could. That really does happen. That happens to me a lot, my fellow gamers. A whole lot. But anyways, ignoring my rage. This effect also applies to ignoring armor piercing, which is awesome. Additionally, increases the damage of all allies by 50%. Also decreases, now this is getting really close to the Korean version of Dellons. Also decreases the skill CD by 7 seconds upon basic attacks. Now that's really, really good right there. How do you utilize this? By attack speed. Now that's just normal for him. His recommended items is attack speed.
But I also don't want to die here.
Well, no. This is critical rate. No, don't buy no critical rate for that. Let's not, don't buy critical rate. Buy attack speed, because that's going to really, really work with the with the skill city thing. Upon basic attacks, that's going to really help the skill city. If you want critical rate to be increased, just get a
Judgment
spike.
Day is here.
Or yeah, just get a spike. Yeah, get a spike or or a Quanta Hoe on your team to increase your team's critical rate. But yeah, don't worry about buying critical rate items. You want attack speed with him. But anyways, let's take a look at his active skills. Inflicts 110% physical damage on one enemy 3 times. Now that's really good. Since he attacks 5 times, that is a lot of damage, my fellow gamers. Additionally, piercing. So this makes him a nightmare for Void Shield characters. So build up your HP, my fellow gamers. If you have a knight, or if you have anybody with a Void Shield, not just a knight, anyone with a Void Shield, you really want to build up that HP because this is going to be deadly. If you're fighting him in the arena, it's going to be serious. Going to be a serious problem for you if you do not have any HP items. So build up those HP items because he will take you down in one attack with this deadly strike. One of these will kill you. So build up your HP if you're going up against him. So be sure to get some really good items. As for this one, inflicts 100% physical damage on all enemies. On all enemies, and silences one or more target at a certain rate. Now that's pretty good, right there. That's getting really close to the Korean version, because the Korean version does attack everybody, but the animation is a lot better. As I know I keep going on about the animations, the character models. The animations and the character models. Why aren't they changing the animation and character models? But I really hope they do, because it's a little disappointing that they didn't. And I really wish I could have got to this sooner so I'll tell you a little more about it. But that's okay. I'm here now and I'm talking about it now. But anyways,
Judgment
let's go over the Spike thing. I don't know why they didn't update Spike. I mean, everyone uses him. And the developers, a friend of mine told me, and he's right, the developers don't want Spike just to be known for his passive ability. But they didn't update him. So that's very disappointing that they didn't do that. But you know what, that's okay. Maybe they'll update him later. They just didn't want to update him now. But they did give all the knights an exclusive costume. I didn't know if you guys wanted to take a look at that or not, but we'll take a look at it anyways, because Spike did have that's the wrong button. Again, with pressing the wrong buttons, Wraith. They did give the knights new costumes, which is great and all. And I got Spike's, because Spike's looks just really cool.
Judgment Day is here.
I'll show you the power of darkness.
Look at this picture. This picture looks kind of like a woman, I'm sorry. Oh, okay.
Those who serve the light. But I also don't want to die here.
Not everyone can tame a dragon.
But yeah, these costumes are pretty cool.
Bow before my feet.
These costumes are awesome. What?
Let's do it elegantly.
But yeah, everybody's costume is really cool. I'm really hoping that they do change the character models, though. That's something I am hoping for, because Dellons' character model looks really cool in the future, and his new animations look stunning. But I'm hoping they change that, and I hope they update Spike eventually, and add him to the knights, for goodness sake, because right now he's barely even a knight. Everyone only uses him for his passive unique, and I set him as my leader because that costume looks awesome. It just looks like something I would use. It just looks like Rache. It just looks cool. Oh right, that reminds me. I am very sorry. I almost forgot. I was going to tell you what I was working on. I'm working on an anime, my fellow gamers. An anime designed by me. I wrote it myself, and I'm making every last... Man, it's hard. It's hard, my fellow gamers. It took me 3 hours just to do 2 seconds. I'm drawing every frame by hand. Every frame, every color, every detail I made completely by myself. I might just end up being in black and white because I don't really have the tools to color it, but it will have blood in it. I'll tell you that right now. It's pretty violent. But it's a very, I worked really hard on it. Hopefully it'll be good. I don't know when it's going to be released. Probably sometime next year, since it's taken me so long just to do one episode. It'll probably be available Probably take me a month to do one episode, so it'll probably be available probably next year sometime in the fall. I don't know if I'll post it here. I don't know where I'm going to post it, I'll be honest with you. But I will post it, that's for sure, and you'll be the first to know, my fellow gamers. That's all the time I got, though. I hope to take it easy for me. Bye.